In a single year, $5 trillion in market value simply vanished, enough to buy every company on Earth twice over. And it happened because of websites. For a few years, all you needed was a name ending in .com and money would rain from the sky. Nobody asked if it made sense. The Nasdaq, the tech-heavy stock index, exploded from around 1,000 points in 1995 to over 5,000 by March 2000. In 5 years it went up roughly 400%, faster than almost any market in history. Then it gave nearly all of it back. To understand the madness, rewind to the early 90s, when the web was a strange new frontier almost nobody could use. In 1993 the Mosaic browser made the web visual and clickable for ordinary people. Suddenly the internet wasn't just for scientists, it was a place you could shop, read, and explore. Investors saw a brand new world with no rules, and they wanted in before anyone else. Then in 1995 a company called Netscape went public, and the world lost its mind. Its stock more than doubled on the first day. Netscape had barely made any profit, yet its stock opened at $28 and closed near $58 on day one. The company was suddenly worth nearly $3 billion. Wall Street had just learned it could get rich on a promise instead of profits. The message spread fast, profits were old-fashioned. Growth was everything. Get big, get eyeballs, and worry about money later, much later. Startups burned through investor cash at terrifying speed, a number people literally called the burn rate. Instead of measuring how much they earned, analysts invented new metrics like page views and unique visitors. A company losing millions could still be treated as a genius bet on the future. Pets.com became the poster child. It sold pet food online, shipped it at a loss, and spent millions on a sock puppet mascot ad in the Super Bowl. Pets.com raised $82 million in its stock market debut in February 2000. Just 9 months later, the company was completely dead. It became the ultimate symbol of an industry spending money it never actually had. By 1999, ordinary people quit their jobs to day trade. Taxi drivers gave stock tips. Everyone was suddenly a genius investor. This is the classic shape of a bubble. Rising prices attract buyers, whose buying pushes prices even higher, which attracts even more buyers. It's a self-feeding loop that feels unstoppable, right up until the moment it isn't. But here's where it gets wild, because the moment everything peaked is the exact moment it started to die. On March 10, 2000, the Nasdaq hit its all-time high of 5,048. That was the top. Within weeks the selling began, and it would not truly stop for 2.5 brutal years. The trigger wasn't one dramatic crash. It was a slow, creeping realization that these companies were never going to make money. Interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve made cheap money harder to find. At the same time, the flood of new companies going public meant too much stock and not enough buyers. Fear replaced greed almost overnight, and the same loop that pumped prices up now dragged them down. Once the fall started, panic fed on itself. Selling triggered more selling. The self-feeding loop was now running in reverse, and there was no floor in sight. From its peak, the Nasdaq lost about 78% of its value by October 2002. Roughly $5 trillion in market wealth evaporated. Fortunes built in months disappeared in days. Thousands of dot-com companies simply ceased to exist. Offices emptied. Fancy chairs and computers were sold off for pennies. An estimated $100 billion of venture capital was poured into internet startups during the boom. Much of it was simply gone. And hundreds of thousands of tech workers lost their jobs when the companies vanished. For a moment, it really did feel like the internet itself had been a scam. A giant, expensive mistake the world would rather forget. But that's the twist. The internet didn't die. It was the bad ideas that died, and that turned out to be a good thing. The crash acted like a brutal filter. Companies with real customers and real revenue survived, while the empty hype machines collapsed. Amazon, which lost over 90% of its stock value, held on and went on to reshape the entire global economy. Amazon's stock fell from over $100 to under $6. Most people wrote it off as another dot-com corpse. That same crushed stock, if you had held it through the pain, became one of the greatest investments in history. The lesson was clear, the technology was real, but the prices had been pure fantasy. Value and hype are not the same thing. The bubble also left behind something concrete, miles of fiber optic cable laid by doomed companies, now powering the modern internet. Telecom firms overbuilt so much fiber that most of it sat unused for years, dark fiber, the industry called it. When streaming, social media, and the cloud finally arrived, that leftover infrastructure was already there, waiting. The bubble's biggest waste quietly became its greatest gift. Every boom since, from housing to crypto to AI, has echoed this exact pattern. The technology may change, but human greed does not. The internet didn't almost die because it was fake, it nearly died because we believed in it too fast, too hard, all at once.